that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well.
I feel like I never have time for myself.
No.
With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things.
His memory isn't what it used to be.
We get up and we have
He
coffee.
usually wakes up at 4:30.
Then we go for a walk.
He needs lots of my attention.
I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important.
Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist.
Testing.
I'd say John and the
testing,
kids
1, 2,
are
3.
adjusting
Go ahead.
pretty well.
They honestly have no idea what
Put
I'm
your headset for him.
It can be a little challenging,
In your
but
mic.
so far so
I
good.
could really use
1,
just
2,
a
3,
little
4,
help.
4, 3, 2, 1.
For those dealing
Alex.
with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
My name is Tom Thornton.
And my name is Cindy Thornton. We've been married 38 years, we're retired, and this is how we live united.
We play golf and we travel, but we also decided we were going to give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
I do the nursing at the clinic.
I work the front office, checking in patients, greeting them, making them feel comfortable.
United Way is how we contribute, because we know our time and money are going to the right places, the places that need it most and implement it best.
Judging by the thank yous we get at the clinic, I'd say we're doing the right thing with our retirement too.
We even get a few bless yous. It's incredible.
We're Tom and Cindy Thornton. We volunteer at our community free health clinic, so we don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend.
Good God! I got to ask you what we need. Soul food. Henry Soul Food. No, we need it. Soul Food. Henry Soul Food. No, I like it. Soul Food. Henry Soul Food. No, we need it. Soul Food. Henry Soul Food.
Home of the sweet potato pie. Even the keenest taste buds will tell you the best food on the planet. Large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. So get the Henrys at 5431 Indian Head Highway, Oxon Hill, Maryland, or give us a call at 301-749-6856.
Soul food. Henry Soul Food. What we need. Soul food. Henry Soul Food.
Welcome to the Armstrong Williams Show, brought to you by Golden Crust Bakery, the fastest growing Caribbean-owned franchise in the United States. Golden Crust is committed to the delivery of quality food and excellent customer service. Visit them today at goldencrustbakery.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Armstrong Williams Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Charlton, how are you today?
Feeling great. Thank you for asking.
Aaron, how are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
I am keeping it moving. I got to keep it moving.
Good.
You can't hit a moving target. Maxey, how are you today? Well, Maxey's not there. Florence King, how are you?
I am wonderful.
Oh, my goodness. It's really Florence.
Hey, Armstrong.
I've been asking Nancy for the last month, what happened to Florence?
What happened to Armstrong? I know.
Florence. What have you been up to?
I'm just out here working hard. That's right. Always at my helm, doing things, and actionary, and doing all that good stuff.
You know, we have some, you're definitely the person that should be with us today. Let me see if Tracy Arnold. Tracy, are you on the line? No. So it's just you, Florence.
Yes,
You know,
Maxey's on the line.
hello, Maxey.
Maxey.
How are you? Sorry I couldn't get through, Armstrong.
Yes, you did. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Maxey.
How are you today?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You might get jealous. You might get jealous. Should I tell you? You might get jealous. Maxey.
Right.
Huh? What did Tony?
No,
what?
Armstrong, I can't hear you for some reason. It's going in and out, and I'm on a landline.
We'll make it work. You know, hey, Florence, you remember what Tony the Tiger used to say?
Yes.
Great.
I feel the same way.
So look, we need some real estate advice, Florence. We have some young people around the age of 26 or 27 want to buy their homes for the first time. They just finished college last June. They don't really have W-2 stubs, but they want to buy their first home. They're doing a lot of consulting work, which started within the last 3 months. And they want to know how they go about qualifying, what gives them the best chance to get a letter, qualifying them for the place they're trying to purchase, and what gives them the best shot at purchasing their first home.
Okay. A lot of things come in play, but the most important thing that they need to be really mindful of is whatever lending institute that is going to actually finance that house for them, they need to find out the criteria that that particular lending institute actually want from them. Like they might have a minimum credit score that will give them the best rate. And they need to actually know exactly before they even go to that lender what their middle score is, not the high score, not the low score, but the middle score. And they need to actually get that information, go online to My FICO and get the official credit score, not one of these free scores that they give to people when they're monitoring their services or things like that. They need to get the Fair Isaac score, the score that the let's say lenders use or the creditors use or the automobile dealerships use. That's the score they want. And when they go to the lender, because they have different, some are very rigid, some may not be as, but they want to maybe do some shopping just like they do shopping for clothes for the best deal, because all of them are not the same. And they might have different, some might have stricter criteria than others. And they might, whereas one might want to see a score of 820 and another one might want to see a score of 720. And when they're young like that, if their score falls below that, they might they have to have about 20% to put down if their score is like in the 600s or something. And you have some who may not have established credit at all, and they may not have a negative information on their credit report, but because they don't have at least 4 line items, they might have a score of like 580. And they may not actually qualify. So they have to sort of get their house in order to make sure that they don't, get the horse before the cart or whatever, the cart before the horse, because they could see a beautiful condominium that might be affordable, but if they can't get it because of the credit score, they will be very disillusioned, So they have to make sure that is in play.
Well, let's hypothetically use the number 695. How does that score fall into play in this situation?
Okay.
Hypothetically
695
speaking,
would get them in. They would, let's say that 695 is their middle score. And basically, if their low score, even if the low score is below their criteria, it still would have to be, if let's say the mortgage company is looking for someone with 680 or so, but the score is above 680, but the low score might be at 640. But as long as that low score is still within the range of the area that they would accept, it's still all good. Because 695 is not that bad. They will still get pretty good interest rates, even though right now, because of the mortgage industry, they have, for refinancing and for buying homes is going up to 4.5% now. So, it's going to be a little higher than usual. So those days are gone with the 3.5 and all of that interest rate.
Man.
So this
Maxey,
is the best time to start to get in on it.
Maxey, your input?
Say that again, Armstrong.
I know you're a good listener. Did you want to add anything?
Oh, no, I'm just fascinated. I'm very fascinated with credit scores because, as I've told you in the past, I think it's amazing how certain things that aren't even really attached to you can lower your credit score, and how, nothing you've even ever done can lower it. You could just have
guess what the
something
latest, you're right, Maxey. That's true. Guess what the latest thing that the 3 credit reporting agencies are doing now, and you're not going to believe this. They are tracking your past 2 years of your payment history on your revolving credit cards. And what they are looking for is what they are actually, they used to didn't report this, but they're reporting it now. And if anyone looked at their credit reports lately, Equifax is just starting to do this the last quarter of this year. Experian have been doing it for about a year, and TransUnion just started at the beginning of this year. What they're doing, let's say you have a $1,000 credit line, credit card, a revolving credit card, and you had actually your minimum payment for that $1,000 line, let's just say it's just $25 a month. And so if you just paid a minimum of $25 a month, they track that. And if you're the type of person who pay only the minimum balance, they call you a revolver, meaning that, and whereas most people, if they charge, let's say, $300 on it, they pay the whole thing off, and they don't carry over anything. So what they're looking at, the person who actually, the credit reports is revealing now is how fast you pay off your balances. And a lot of people now, if you can't afford to pay the whole amount off, but you're paying more than the minimum balance, you carry a lesser risk. But they say a person who's just paying the minimum balance on, let's say, a $1,000 line, we could say it was a $10,000 line and you're paying $100. But if they are tracking that now, and when a person wants to get a new, let's say, card holder, they are actually, now these people are never late, but they're not paying, they're just paying the minimum balances. Now, the credit card companies, they want to actually have that type of a person as a client because they're paying so much interest rate, and that's who they're looking for. They are not looking for the person who's paying the whole balances off. They are looking for the person who's just paying the minimum but never late. Now, it's good, yeah, you understand that. They really want to make money off of you. Now, for people who pay off the full balance, their scores are going to be higher because they are considered a low risk. You're going to have higher scores, but they don't want people with the real high scores. They want people who got the middle range, that they can make money off, and that they have charged them a higher interest rate, and yet they're not a high risk because they do pay their bills, but they're just paying the minimum. But before, they used to didn't actually put that on your credit report about how much. All they show is like your R1, never late. But now they're showing how much of your minimum you're paying. So if you're paying, let's say, $75 every month for a minimum, all of that is in the eyes of the person who's trying to offer credit. So they see your paying patterns. And this is new. They just started tracking that.
Hold there. We're coming back. Hold there. We're coming back. I'm Armstrong Williams, Maxey, Florence King, Aaron, Chalk. We'll all be back.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Crust's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean, only at a Golden Crust near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrossBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong-Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. What does it mean to be conservative? Freedom of speech, freedom of free enterprise, freedom of assembly, less government, less taxes. As a matter of fact, a flat tax. Everyone should pay proportional tax. It doesn't matter whether you make $100 million or $10,000. Everyone should pay their 10%. Everyone should have something at stake in this American economy. I'm Armstrong Williams expressing what we mean by conservative traditional values.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Yeah, let me welcome our guest to the show, and I apologize for the confusion, but there's no confusion anymore. Let me welcome our guest to the show. Thomas Fleming, how are you?
Hi. I'm delighted to get a chance to chat with you, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, well, Florence and Maxey, you're going to definitely be interested in this topic. A plague, a disease in the public mind, a new understanding of why we fought the Civil War by Thomas Fleming, who's a best-selling author of The Intimate Lives of the Founding Fathers. Why did we fight the Civil War? And talk about the disease in the public mind.
Yes. This is, I think, the most exciting book I've ever written. This is the 50th book I've published. And this tells us a great many things that most people don't know about the Civil War. The title suggests that there was people had the wrong view. People in one section of the country had the wrong view of people in the other section of the country, and they hated them. They hated each other. They grew to hate each other and fear each other before there was an argument about slavery. And then when this became part of the problem, there was an even more probable path towards a terrible war that was going to kill 1 million men, many of them black Americans, too, I should add.
You know, by the time John Brown hung from the gallows for his crime at Harper's Ferry.
I tried to deliver in this book, Mr. Williams, is the incredible importance of the brotherhood that we lost in the years before the Civil War began. And this was what Lincoln was trying to restore when he tried to. He did all kinds of things that most people don't know about. For one thing, the book is full of surprises for me as well as readers. Perhaps the most amazing thing Lincoln did was he offered Robert E. Lee command of the Union Army in 1861. He was hoping that a prominent soldier like Lee, a Southerner, would enable him to end this conflict quickly. But Lee had been so damaged by the hatred of Southerners that the North heaped on the Southern white men, aside from slavery, as I keep emphasizing, that he couldn't bring himself to take command of an army where so many men hated Southerners who he feared would abuse them, and he turned Lincoln down. I think that's one of the most surprising things about the book. But the other thing that I think is even more surprising is the chapter I call Thomas Jefferson's Nightmare. That goes back to when Jefferson was president, and he invited the French, or allowed the French, to invade the island of Haiti in the hope to destroy the black government that was there. They had revolted and achieved quite a good government. But Jefferson went along with this, and he let the French send in an army. And this incredible, bloody war erupted, but the French army then collapsed from yellow fever and fled. And the black army that was still left in charge, they were so enraged at the French that they killed all the French men, women, and children. And this became Thomas Jefferson's nightmare. He became convinced that you couldn't free a black man because he was going to kill the white man the minute he became free. This was completely untrue. All the evidence that we have before and after the war showed that this was simply wrong. But it was a disease in his mind, and it became a disease in the mind of the whole South. So many Southerners believed this, that it made Lincoln's attempt to work out a peaceful solution to slavery impossible.
Fleming, Thomas Fleming. Hi, this is Aaron. I read your book a while ago, and I found it to be very fascinating.
I don't quite hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Go ahead.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
I can hear you better, yeah.
Okay, Thomas. So I read your book a while ago, and it was quite good and fascinating. Good job. What I found interesting was, you mentioned people in your book like John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Lincoln, and you mentioned that they were all against slavery, but yet to an extent they seem to view blacks as inferior to whites. Why do you think that was?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I can't quite hear you.
Why do you think this book is so important? And talk about some of the things that will shock people in writing your book, which I think everyone should read, A Disease in the Public Mind. Talk about some of the shocking things that history has not addressed enough that people need to be made aware of.
I think one thing that we don't know is how important the black men and women were in the pre-war South. An enormous number of black, talented and intelligent black men, and quite a few women who worked on plantations, were doing very important jobs that required a great deal of intelligence. And over 70% of the plantations had black overseers that ran the whole operation. And I have a chapter which is called "The Real Uncle Tom," and the unknown South that he helped to create. The Uncle Tom I refer to is the man in Uncle Tom's Cabin who is portrayed as a good-natured idiot that let people beat him up and do all kinds of terrible things to him. This man, his name was Hewson, Hewson. He took over his owner's plantation in Maryland, and he made it into a tremendous success. And there was he was like a model or an example of what could be achieved by intelligent blacks, and that a great many of slave owners began to realize that they had to start paying blacks and rewarding them for their abilities. And slavery was changing in the decades before the war, and there was some hope that perhaps we could banish this disease of the public mind, that Thomas Jefferson's nightmare. But when John Brown raided Harper's Ferry, attempting to start a race war in the South, he wanted to seize those guns at Harper's Ferry and go into the South. He had maps in which he showed each county in the South where blacks outnumbered whites. His goal was to have a race war, and that completely undid the progress that had been made, and that's why we finally, as a result of John Brown's raid and the discovery that there were 6 very wealthy white men who had been backing him, the South, an enormous number of people in the South said they want to do what happened in Haiti. They called Haiti Santo Domingo, and they said they want to make us another Santo Domingo, meaning to start another race war. And this was the final step, the final blow that brought on the war.
And in the title, it says, you say that this is essentially the history that was never told. What is the main difference between the history that we all know?
Again, I can't quite hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now better, Mr. Fleming? Yes, the question I was asking is...
I think Armstrong and CW need to yell.
Yeah, I think that we're going to talk louder now. Is this better? Is this better?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
Really
well, in the title...
I can hear the other people guess, but I can't hear the two of you.
Oh, okay. I'm going to speak louder then. It says, a new understanding of why we fought the Civil War. Can you compare the reasons why we were taught the Civil War was fought in contrast to what you have written in your book? Briefly.
I explained the reasons as I see them, yes. But this disease of the public mind is a distortion of the real world. In the beginning of our country, the two sections didn't hate each other. They were a band of brothers, as Washington called them in his what they called his Continental Army, and Washington. And here's something else that I play up in the book that most people don't know: that Washington recruited black soldiers to fight in his Continental Army to fight for our independence. And by the time the war was over, 1 in every 7 men in George Washington's army was black. And this had a great impact on Washington. And he freed all his slaves in his will. And he specified how each of them should be educated and given a skill so they could make a living. This was Lincoln's example. This is what he wanted to do for everybody in the South, all the blacks in the South. But he never got a chance to really try to do it, because once the war started and people started killing each other, all hope of negotiation vanished.
Florence, you have a question?
Well, I was just thinking that what he says is so true, because my great-grandfather was a freed slave on George Washington's plantation. He was not enslaved at the time, where other people like Robert E. Lee had slaves. But he was free. But he stayed on the plantation and had a position.
He gave his. Go ahead. I just wanted to agree with you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Florence.
That's a very good example.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Florence.
He was paid and had a position.
Oh, wow. This is a fascinating. I know we're having a few technical issues, but the subject matter is too important for us not to discuss. It's an education. We're so glad to have Thomas Fleming joining us. We'll be back. Don't go away. We'll be back.
Returns in a moment.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Life is full of unexpected changes. Everyone has potential to do wrong. And when they choose to do it, contact the Bucksell Group for your private investigation needs. TheBucksellGroup.com or by phone at 202-243-9746. Whether there's an instance of a cheating spouse, child custody, process service, or security, don't continue suspecting. Get closure so that you can move on with your life. Visit TheBucksellGroup.com now or call 202-243-9746. If you think it's happening, it probably is.
To travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sports shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder Chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Dr. Fleming, what motivated you to write this book, and what research? Was there a conversation? What led to this latest A Disease in the Public Mind?
I've been researching the book for over 2 years. I read the papers of Abraham Lincoln, the papers of George Washington, but I just sometimes you come across things that take you by complete surprise, and that's what I call serendipity. You don't expect to find something, and that's my example. I use that Thomas Jefferson's nightmare as a good example of that. I never realized that this terrible civil war in Haiti affected Jefferson so horribly that he banned all contact with the Black Republic of Haiti, and that ban lasted for another 58 years after he put it through, and that really shocked me. That not until we did not send an envoy to Haiti until 1862. When Abraham Lincoln sent one. After that Civil War, the bloody Civil War, that was the end of our contact with Haiti. And so for 58 years, this country was just basically cut adrift by the United States. We could have had a good influence. We could have done so much. When I got on this research track, I found such unexpected insights into the background of our Civil War.
Maxey?
I'm just fascinated by this topic. I've studied a bit about it. The only thing I could add, and maybe your guests could respond to, is weren't there a couple of times, if I recall back in my days of studying history, where the United States, which was obviously just being formed and people were coming over, didn't they abolish slavery a couple times? They went back to the Crown and said, hey, and the Crown said yes, and then they said, but we need these slaves to, i.e., dredge Savannah and make Savannah. I'm just thinking of that in one town in Georgia. But,
abolished slavery
so
peacefully.
there were times where people
The British
tried to let go of slavery, but it was
million
always
slaves
brought
in the
back
West
to the
Indies,
Americans said, no, we need it.
without any bloodshed. They did it by paying the owners. They call it compensated emancipation. And it worked. And later on, Brazil, which had 3 million slaves, this was after the Civil War, they too freed those slaves without any bloodshed. We're the only country in the whole world that fought this bloody civil war to end slavery. And that was another discovery I made in my research that just shocked me.
Florence?
Wow. Yeah, I'm just thinking that I think one of the reasons why that the United States had bloodshed because they had so much to lose. It was all about economics. And they fought.
A lot of it had
exactly.
to do with that. Yes,
Yeah.
the South. But what I like to say, what I do say in my book, in my chapter on the real Uncle Tom and the contributions that blacks made before the Civil War, the South was the 6 of the 10 richest states in the Union were southern states before the Civil War. And blacks, as I show in the book, the black contribution to this wealth was tremendous. And more and more, as I said, more and more plantation owners were beginning to realize this. I have a quote from a man who says that he lost poor Loven, Loven. That was the name of his overseer. And he said, he was the most talented man that ever managed my plantation, and he did more for it than any white man that ever lived. This is something it's just totally forgotten. And I think it's really important to know that in spite of the horrible traditions and customs of slavery, there were blacks who overcame this barrier and achieved a great deal. Another example was 1/3 of all the expert workers in Charleston, South Carolina, were black. That means the tailors, the blacksmiths, all sorts of talents were being used by a combination of freed blacks, and some blacks were still slaves, but they just paid their owners a certain fee each month, and they lived as free people. So I think it's really important to know that slavery didn't degrade blacks and turn them into automatons. There were tens of thousands of them who were living intelligent lives and doing the best they could with this awful system.
You talk about in your book when President Thomas Jefferson approved Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Saint-Domingue in 1802 to restore French rule, how it created a nightmare that became a disease of the Southern mind because they were fearful of a race war. And what was amazing is how yellow fever set in and destroyed the French army, and it enraged Haitians so much that they killed every white man, woman, child on the island. Talk about the impact that turn of events had.
It was terrible. It made it impossible for either side to negotiate. On one hand, there was this terrible fear of a race war, but in the North, the people we call the abolitionists, who we do regard, we praise them for wanting to free the slaves, but they insisted that the South should free all the slaves, all 4 million slaves, 40% of the population, immediately. And that would have brought the South to its knees economically. The whole country would have just come to a dead stop. And also, it played right to the fear of a race war. So when the Southerners heard white Northerners saying, you must free all your slaves immediately. They thought, these people don't really care about the slaves. They're our enemy. They want the slaves to become freed and destroy us. It was a paranoia, in a way, based on this nightmare that Thomas Jefferson created by giving the French the right to go into Haiti.
Also, Fleming, one figure you talk about a lot in your book is William Lloyd Garrison, who, as you mentioned, is a very staunch abolitionist, but was extreme in the way he went about his views. So why don't you, tell the audience, about William Lloyd Garrison and what your take on him is exactly?
William Lloyd Garrison was the founder of abolitionism. He was a Boston newspaper man, and he also hated Southerners. There were a lot of reasons for that in his own family. When Jefferson was president, he fastened an embargo on the country to try to keep us out of a war with England, and William Lloyd Garrison's father lost his job as a harbor pilot, and the marriage broke up, and he very early in his life he saw the Southerners inflicting terrible pain on his family, and this led him to more and more extreme positions as he started in 1831 demanding the immediate freedom of all the slaves. But then when the South just said, go away, get lost, are you out of your mind, and so forth, he then grew more and more extreme. He burned the Constitution in public, and he demanded that the North should secede from the South. Way before the South seceded, Garrison was out there calling on the North to secede because slavery was contaminating the country, he said. And so in other words, he was a very, very unreasonable man. He knew nothing, for instance, about George Washington freeing his slaves in his will and trying his best to get others to imitate him. Instead, Garrison said we should change the name of Washington, D.C., because Washington was a slave owner who was burning in the fires of hell. He thought slavery was a terrible sin. And but when you hear somebody say this, I'm afraid if you were a Southerner, you'd say, this guy is off his rocker. And I'm afraid an awful lot of people did think that about William Lloyd Garrison. Although I want to say again, he was very sincere in his desire to try to free the slaves. But he did more damage with his approach than he did any good.
Do you feel
How can someone go and get a copy of the book? Because we cannot thank you enough for joining us. Where can they go to get a copy of it?
You can get a copy of the book on Amazon.com, and also if you look on my website, it's ThomasFlemingWriter.com. You'll see how you can order it there too, and so it's available. On Amazon. It was it's one of the top selling books in American history on the Civil War.
Wow, Thomas Fleming.
So I really do appreciate this chance to
talk
with you about this subject. It is so important to our past and our future.
You're a distinguished historian and author of more than 50 books, a frequent guest on PBS and A&E and the History Channel. Fleming has contributed articles to American Heritage, MHQ, the Quarterly Journal of Military History, and many other magazines. He lives in New York City. Please go out and buy his book, A Disease in the Public Mind, A New Understanding of Why We Fought the Civil War. Thomas Fleming, thank you, sir. We'll be back with our panel guests. Don't go away.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Cross's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Cross near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrossBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Florence King, where do you find sanity and financial rewards in today's real estate market?
Well, right now, it's amazing that I cannot believe that when I talk to a lot of realtors now, they're saying that they're getting multiple offers again, like before, like around 2008 and 9, on houses now. And it's, I did not think, a lot of people who have been like, well, I'll just wait until the market turns. But in a sense, it's a seller's market right now because a lot of the inventory out here is not, they have few and people are just jumping on purchasing these homes. When I say multiple offers, I'm not talking about 2 or 3. Sometimes they got 5 and 6 offers on one home. This is in the metropolitan D.C. area. It is just a hot market in this area.
What do you attribute it to?
Well, I'm thinking that basically people feel that they have some type of, sense about, they look at the prices of the homes as if like, wow, this is maybe, I've been dragging or procrastinating, and it's like everybody is feeling the same way. But you got new buyers, and you got some people who are just coming into the market, the first-time home buyers. But then you have a lot of people who have, let's say, baby boomers who are no longer wanting to live in the big houses, and they are downsizing to nice luxury condominiums on the water and all of that, or, in areas where they don't have to mow the lawn or don't have to do any climbing because they have elevators and then they have concierge services. And so they're buying up all of these. And these are people who have money, and the homes that they're living in now, a lot of them, it's worth, close to $1 million or more. and they can afford to buy not just one condominium; they can buy more than one. And you got on the elderly end, which is the baby boomers who are becoming of age in their 60s or so, and then you have the young ones who are just turning 30, who are actually first-time home buyers, and then you have the middle ground of people who are trying to kind of hold on to their homes, but they are actually kind of refinancing. But you have a mix of all of that. Whether or not it's the price of the homes, it's just that they need a home to change their lifestyle.
Maxey, I guess you probably have similar situations in West Palm Beach, Florida, where you live now. I guess it all depends upon the market. We heard how the Florida market was tanking at one time, but yet I guess it's coming back again.
Yeah, well, the Florida market's exceptional because, like Texas and Wyoming, the taxes are so great for people to move there, i.e. to leave the states behind, and, also just other types of tax credits and things they get that I know your guests would be able to comment on. And so we've seen recently on the island of Palm Beach, where I live, which is just over from West Palm, I know a great talk show host, Howard Stern, just bought a house down there for $52 million. It's record homes are being... Money is, people just have got to put their money somewhere, and like your guest was saying, they've got a lot of money, they want to put it somewhere where it's not going to be taxed.
Like Florida.
What are young people doing? Are they playing in this market? Are they the advantages for them, Florence?
Well, I even with some of my clients, that's the first thing that's on their minds. They know that being a homeowner builds wealth, and it's not like they're living on a rock or something like that. That's the first thing that they say. These are my young, even when we used to say, the ones who just hit 30, but they're getting younger now. They're talking about buying homes at the age of 23, 24, 25. So they know how important it is to become a homeowner. And what is so good about it, they're not trying to get the dream house right away. They're willing to actually sacrifice by getting, a smaller unit or a condominium that might not be in the, it's not in a disadvantaged neighborhood, but it's in an up-and-coming neighborhood. And just look around. You see it all over the place, even, whether it's U Street or whether it's in pockets of Alexandria on the west end. You will see a lot of younger people, ones who are still carrying the, baby carriages, and they're young, just beginning to have children. They might have a child and one on its way, and they know that they don't want to raise them in, apartment atmosphere, and so you see a lot of young first-time home buyers out here.
It would seem to me, though, that D.C. would present its own challenges. It's a very expensive market. The qualifications to buy real estate has changed drastically. It certainly doesn't suit someone who's just getting out of college and who yet get their feet planted with a job. What is the best thing for young people to do to prepare themselves to purchase their first home?
Well, what is happening mostly, we're talking District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. They have a lot of programs. Not only the federal government have a few programs too, like they give money, give them loans, the down payment, and all that stuff to make it affordable. But not only the companies itself, like some of the bigger, let's say, financial institutions who are offering first-time home buyers, they have incentives where they actually give them a leg up by actually either paying closing costs or down payments. They have all kinds of incentives for first-time home buyers, not for people who are buying their first, the second and third properties, but this is not only the government is offering this, but they have actually private mortgage lenders who are offering the same thing to make their lending really suite in a sense. So they're all giving them, some of them are giving them, $25,000, $30,000. Whereas it's paying it back could be, 90 years from now and stuff like that. So they have all kinds of programs for first-time home buyers.
Are senior citizens being, Florence, are senior citizens being provided for in affordable housing?
Well, that has been going on for a long, long time. You have a lot of, first of all, you have the wealthy who have already planned on where they're going to go and all that to spend their return years. But you also have, let's say you have people who are maybe on a pension or fixed income, and they are maybe if they were homeowners and they got a reverse mortgage, a lot of them were doing that, and they felt that a lot of people were trying to discourage that. But if they're like up in their late 70s, early 80s, and they have a reverse mortgage, whereas they're not paying a mortgage at all, and unless they move out, so a lot of them took that route.
Maxey?
Armstrong, I wish I had more to add. Your guest is just so well informed. I just want to listen today. I can't even believe what I'm hearing. I'm just so impressed.
Florence, you haven't been with us in such a while. It is true. Give us some other things that are going on in the market that we should be aware of in the few minutes we have left.
Right. What you want to actually look out for is, believe it or not, I've heard people talk about these deals, people who have a little bit of discretionary money that they can actually find right now beach properties out there your way in Florida where Fort Myers, where you can actually get beach property for like $69,000 or $89,000 or less, which they have already predicted within less than 5 years is going to be worth over six figures, because baby boomers are going to be actually moving that way like a mass exodus. And they say if anybody have any, investment money, they need to purchase near beach properties like in Florida, and they actually have some steals. Fort Myers is one of the hot markets that people don't know about yet, because you can still buy some reasonable property there, some for $29,000 and stuff like that, which is going to be off the charts in a couple of, and within about 5 years, when a lot of the baby boomers will be moving down that way.
There's much to keep up with,
wow,
isn't it?
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I really am going to take that to note.
Please.
Well, Florence, how can someone reach you?
Feel free to call me at the office at 703-684-2007. And we also have a website at www.fmk, which is my initials, .com. FMKINC, which is incorporated.com. So that's FMKINC.com or 703-684-2007.
Florence, thank you so much for joining us. Maxey, thank you for joining
me,
us.
Armstrong.
Thank you both. So,
thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a
very much.
day.
Thank you. Where does the time go, Erin, when you're having so much fun?
It just flies by, doesn't it?
Fly by. It's certainly not walking by.
Definitely not.
Only CW does the walking by. CW, I want to thank you both for joining us for this edition of the show. Any of you guys thinking about buying a home, buying real estate anytime soon?
No, I definitely am. This is a hot time. And as our wonderful guest has pointed out, if you're in a position to do so, why not?
Listen, Maxey, Florence King, Aaron, Charlton, thank you all so much for joining us. And also a special hello to Derek Tony on the board and Jamal and WGCB family. I'm Armstrong.